Clean up the hole with a Dremel until it's no longer conductive and prepare wax paper. Tape the wax paper to the back side of the board. Fill the hole with 2-part epoxy. Once the epoxy has cured, you can drill new holes and install new through-hole rivets. I forgot to mention that I added a blanking LED. I always add a blanking LED. So I'm on the bench now with this Gorgar MPU and driver board, and everything seems to be working except one thing. You can see that I replaced all of the previous ROMs with a single IC14. I've tested that 6810. I put a bunch of sockets in here. I provided provision for a CR2032 battery and socketed the 5101 so that NVRAM could be added easily. Right now it's in display test, but you can see down here that solenoid 12 or Q3637 pair is locked on. 16 is locked on also, but that's the coin door solenoid, and that's normal for this stage of the test. So what I'm going to show you is, since that it's this position translates to this tip 102 transistor. So I'm only driving these things with 5 volts, so it's safe to use a logic probe. If you were driving these with the typical coil voltage in this game, you can't do this with a logic probe. So I'm going to test a good transistor, and you can see that that is high. The tab of these good transistors are all high. Here's the bad transistor, and you can see it's not registering anything at all. So if I go to the 3 legs of a good transistor, it goes low, high, low. And on the bad transistor, it's low, nothing, low. So we know that that transistor is bad. And I'm going to pull that out, and I'll come back and we'll complete the testing of this board. We're back on the bench with this Gorgar MPU and driver board, and I am already into display test, which you can see is operating perfectly. I went back to the bench and replaced the transistor that I had noted as being failed. Sorry about that. And I had missed the fact that those 2 transistors in the special solenoid section had failed also. And even though it was indicating clearly over here on my display that those had failed. So the one in the middle, which is Q4, that one was a little crispier than the one to its left, but the client is strongly advised to check those special solenoids, and on Gorgar those will be pop bumpers and sling switches, and probably one more that I don't recall off the top of my head. So let's test the rest of it. There's display test, and the next test is lamp test. Looks a little funny on my display, but if I shield the fluorescent lights, you can see that's working correctly. And then the next test, I believe, is solenoid test. So you saw the flipper control grounds turn on there. That was the 2 orange lights. And we're going through each of the solenoids in turn. The last one, 16, will extinguish. And now we're on the special solenoids. 16, again, it's the coin lockout solenoid. So those are all working correctly. And I can drive those via the switch inputs, via my really nice board there. Let's see, get down here to 16 and see the coin lockout solenoid turn on and go off. Very nice. And the next test is switch test. So I will go through the diagonal row and column, and the last switch that Gorgar reports is switch 44. So we are good to go there. Sorry, now we go through the audits. There's no point in me setting this to free play since I don't have a battery backup on it again, but I can flick power off and on again. And we are back to attract mode with the default high score to date alternating there in window 1, and the lamp matrix operating, and The only solenoid that's turned on is the coin lockout solenoid. So after all of that, she is ready to go. Thank you so much for sending it.